What's going on YouTube? It's Brazen back here with another video for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys want to hit a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here, and leave a comment letting me know you subscribe so I can welcome you to the family. And that being said, cue intro. What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Need for Speed Heat video for you guys. Here today we're going to be going over the Warp Speed Trophy Guide, which is going to be the 240 mile per hour with any car. Now the reason this one ends up being a little bit harder is because not everyone wants to go ahead, and maybe they're not level 50 or they just don't want to spend 1.2 million on a car. So I'm going to explain the second way you can do it, as well as the first and fastest way to go ahead and get it done if you are just going for quickness of the trophy. So first things first, what you're going to want to do if you're not using the 400 plus car that you get at level 50 is going to be, you're going to have to get, it's actually going to be under the NOS, and you're going to have to use a 1 tank, right? But the 12 pound tank, to be honest, doesn't work. Maybe some people do have better luck with some cars. I've tested this out with about 3 or 4 of my cars that I do have that are pretty high speed, and it doesn't seem to work. Obviously that speed is only a 9.6 on the Subaru. But if you do have this 1 times 15 pound tank, it does work. But what I want to explain, and that is kind of what I want to go over now, basically the Elite Plus and the Ultimate parts are parts that you get from doing high heat races at night. So what you have to do, if you guys don't know, is basically go ahead and get to high heat level 3 or heat level 3, do that race, and then heat level 5 you will get a second piece. So to do both of those races, getting away from the cops and getting to those heat levels, it's going to take you at least 10 to 15 minutes. Even if you're really good, because the races will be about 3 minutes. You have to drive to them. There's no fast traveling. Sometimes they will be across the map. And then on top of that, like I said, you do have to lose the cops and things like that. And if you don't have the best car in the game, it may be a little tough, especially at that heat level 5. And it's going to be all random. So there's 3 parts right here. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then right here on the Chargers, there will be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then you also get 18 and 19. So there's going to be 19 total parts that you can go ahead and get. And like I said, it will be random. So you won't 100% know which parts it is that you get. It is random. You can use it on any card that you get. But once you go ahead and get that, right? So let's say you get 2 per night. So that means each hour you can go ahead and get 8 parts. That's, like I said, if you do it perfect, if you don't get caught by the cops or anything like that. That is 8 parts, which will take you at least over 2 hours if you're super fast at it to go ahead and get 16 out of the 19 parts. So you might get lucky. You might be someone that is very lucky and go ahead and get this part first, right? Which would be perfectly fine. If you're not level 50 and you're still gaining rep, then I do advise maybe doing these races, because obviously you're still going for the rep level. But I'm kind of assuming that people that are going for this trophy, maybe you are already level 50. And basically you want to do it the fastest way possible is what I'm explaining, because by the time you do the million rep in one night, obviously you will get close to 50 or a pretty high level, and you can get to level 50 very, very fast from there. But like I said, if you're not level 50 and you're still grinding rep, I do advise doing the races because it will help you out. But it's going to be slower. So that's going to be about 2.5 hours, of doing it if you're perfect, to go ahead and get the part, which then you will have to build up your car. You will have enough money, more than likely, if you do the high heat races, to go ahead and build up your car to get to that 240 mile per hour. And I will show you guys where to do the 240 mile per hour at. I just want to go over the 2 methods first. So that will be method number 1, and then we'll go over method number 2 right now. Alright, so for method number 2, it is obviously going to buy, I don't know how to say that, Coinseg, the 400 plus. You get it at level 50. It costs 1.227500. Once you go ahead and get it, the reason it's so good is because once you go ahead and get this, if we do leave the dealership, it is a great car overall. You really only have to change a couple pieces on it. So we're going to go ahead and hop to the garage just to kind of show you, the stats on it. But really, you don't want to use that car for necessarily the money making way, which is what we're going to go over right now. You want to use it for the actual, getting the 240 mile per hour. But we'll show you the car first, and then you can see. So you can see once you upgrade it just a little bit, it'll be 8.1 acceleration, high speed of 10. and then it's in that bottom left corner. I've only customized it in 3 different spots. You know, you get ultimate pieces on it, so it gave me ultimate and ultimate plus just by using it. There's only one engine that it go ahead and uses, and then I just put on the nitrous system, which you don't really need. You can still, even without the nitrous, which I'm just using elite, but you can get there because the top speed of the car is 255 with what I have at least. I'm just using stock suspension. Elite brakes I did put on, which obviously doesn't do much besides give you a little bit better brakes. Tires, you know, I do have elite tires on, and then elite plus the drivetrain. Sport gearbox, which you don't really get to choose, right? It's just a 1-speed, and then the drivetrain differential. So you can't get your acceleration all the way up, so it's not a super fast acceleration. It is just a really fast car for top speed. So for acceleration purposes, we're going to go to swap car. So this method is obviously assuming that you're at $0, and it'll take you about an hour if you are at $0. So you're just going to exit and go to the day. But obviously, if you're maybe already at 500,000, this could take you literally 30 minutes. I do have a method that I think is good to go ahead and try to do towards it. I wouldn't go for the warp speed trophy first, and I'm going to kind of explain that right here once we load out, because I do think, you know, the warp speed trophy, you might as well leave it towards the end, which I kind of did. I just waited till I got the money for it. So first thing I did is I went and completed every single drift zone all the way up. So if you complete it on 3-star difficulty, you get 6,000 bank reward for the drift zones, right? And obviously every place has them. So you just go ahead. I went around the map and I've done every single drift zone in the game. I got the trophy. So that's 6,000 times. I don't know how many there was. Probably a pretty good amount of them. Actually, maybe there might be a codex, or I don't know if it's in the codex or the collections, I guess. I don't know how many there is total. I know obviously each one of them has like 2 to 3. Some of them only have 1, but for the most part, they're all in there. So I did every single drift zone that was in the game. You get a pretty good amount of cash. You can also do a lot of other objectives, which will give you cash as well, right? Flamingos, spray paints, things like that will give you about 2,000. So if you're going for the platinum, it is good to go ahead and get a lot of those done, which is what I kind of did to get there. But if you want a very fast way, and let's say you have most of that done, but you had spent your money on a different car, you know, and you just want to get that trophy, what you're going to do is come over to the safe house right here. In Fort Callahan. Like I said, hopefully, ideally, I would at least get to like 600,000-700,000 just by completing all the drift zones, getting to rep level 50, right? Doing every single thing in the game that you're going to need trophies for anyways, completing all the story modes, then use the extra money. Once you load into this fast travel right here, what you're going to do is take the exact route that I do and get you there quickly. It takes literally probably, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds. Don't do that. That was just the worst turn of all time. But it should take you maybe 45 seconds max to get to the spot to get the cash. You guys have probably seen this specific spot before, but I am going to show you. I can get you get 4,500 every time you do it, and you can get about 5 or 6 done a minute. I can get 7 in the Subaru Impreza because the acceleration is so fast. But if you have a car that maybe the acceleration is not as good, you have to go further back, then you might have to get a little bit more. So basically it's going to be right here. And since I'm in the Subaru Impreza and it goes so fast, I'm going to have to go at a better angle because it gets to about 70 miles per hour. You don't want to fly into the water because it won't give you the 4,500. So once you go ahead and you get that, I basically just back up to these train tracks every time. That's even a little bit further than I necessarily need. Like I said, you don't want to fall into the water because if you do like that and you fall into the water, you don't actually get the cash. So that's why I say in the Impreza, it's actually a little bit harder because you fly so far. Some cars you might fly a little bit better. Right there you can see we do get the 4,500. You could also just NOS it up and go from a shorter distance if you do have, you know, 4 NOS tanks like I do, right? Super useful, and you just continue to do that and you get, like I said, 4,500. You can do that about 5 or 6 times a minute. If you do that 4,500, let's say even 5 times, right? That's going to be a little bit under 25,000, maybe like 22,500, I believe, or something like that. A minute. So go ahead and do it. Like I said, Subaru Impreza is a little bit harder to do it with because you literally have to do it perfect. If you do it too fast, you will just fly off the map and you won't get it because you have to land on the rock so that you get it. So you can see even the distance doesn't necessarily matter. It's the angle that you take. So it is distance, but it's also just the angle that you take. And you can see it's very, very fast right there. So now we're going to go ahead and just show you how to actually get the top speed up to that 240 and where to do it at. So once you do this, you just buy the car at 1.227 or whatever the case is. Go ahead and stack it up. Once you go ahead and do that, you're basically ready to go. I put nitrous on the car, like I said, but you don't necessarily need it. And then we will load in and show you what to do to actually get the 240 mile per hour. All right, so where I like to do this at on the map is going to be right here, basically going downhill through all the way to the speed trap. This is where I basically went ahead and did it. There's tons of different places you can go ahead and try to figure this out, right? So you can go ahead and try to go on this straight line up here and see if that'll work. Basically what I would look for is very fast speed traps as well, because if your speed trap has to hit right here, for instance, you have to hit at 230 miles per hour on the speed trap. So basically, if you're thinking about it, we need to hit 240 miles per hour. This specifically is telling you have to hit 230. So you'll probably be able, as long as you take this turn pretty good right here. So basically on this one, what is a good way to do it is when you're coming down, you hit the 230, and then if you're able to stay straight on this path, you can definitely get another 10 miles per hour in as long as your car allows it, which obviously in the car I am using, I can get to 255, so that works pretty well. Right here, you only need to hit 180, so this one's a little bit harder. But once again, if you are able to take this turn pretty well on the freeway right here, so it's going to be a bridge, but if you're able to hit a straight shot, get a pretty good turn, and then continue to go, you might be able to hit that 240. This is just what works for me because it is downhill. If you go click right on the D-pad, on the PlayStation, and then you go down to live tune, you can see my top speed is 255 without NOS, so you should be able to do it pretty easily. But we'll go ahead and just hit it and basically go downhill. Try not to hit any cars. It will take you a couple attempts because you probably will hit some cars. It's just gonna happen. It is what it is. So basically right here, you take this turn. There is a couple like small turns. It's not bad, but there is a couple small turns. So right here you hit the second hill, and then like I said, you don't want to hit the nitrous, and just go as fast as you can, and just continue to go. And you can see right there, I'm already hitting in the 240s all the way. So I've already hit 255 or 245, I mean. And it's pretty easy to do, especially in this car. I only use one small nitrous, but because you're going downhill, it's very, very simple to do. So that's why I advise doing it right there. So if that does help you guys out, make sure to drop a like if you guys do enjoy, if this does help you out. Subscribe and turn on the post notification bell. And as always, I will see you next time.